My name is Harper. I'm an engineer, but I do a lot of work behind the scenes though. Help manage a bunch of artists, help co-write a bunch of songs, help executive produce a bunch of songs and albums, projects that recently came out that's doing numbers. That's pretty much what I've been on the last couple of years.
Gotcha. So how did you get into engineering?
I kind of always been around it. My family's been in music, like pretty much my whole life. So my older cousin was like a big producer down here, and I grew up around that. I grew up with first I wanted to be a producer at first, but then the engineering lane was kind of calling me. So once I got it behind the boards and stuff, I was stuck, I guess.
Gotcha. What age was that?
When I first started engineering, like I said, I've always been around it, but when I first started taking it serious, I guess when I was like 19, 20, when I first started taking it serious, I guess.
And who was, I guess, some of the first artists that you worked with?
When I first started, I was just recording straight short fuse artists, all my cousins, A-Baby, Major, Thump, and a bunch of friends, like a couple old artist friends I had.
Is there anything that you take from the industry, being in a studio and working with other recording artists, that you apply to just people that you know in general? Like, do you really share like those tips, or do you kind of
for sure,
keep it on
definitely. Yeah, I mean, but you gotta see what part of the process they're in before you can give them advice. Because you don't want to give them like expert advice if they're just learning how to record. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, first you gotta see what part of the process they're in, and then eventually, relationships build where you want to see certain people kind of tighten up on their weaknesses and get better over time. So if you feel like you know what's kind of holding them back, then you should probably tell them, help them out. So yeah, I try to do that.
How did you get to where you are now in your career as an engineer and producer?
Working. I used to do literally 48 hours worth of sessions back to back, no lunch breaks, no nothing, artists coming in 48 hours straight, no sleep, no nothing, 5-hour energies and Red Bulls and a box of grabber leaves literally got me through all them sessions. But I used to do that for years though, honestly, years, at least 2, 3, 4 years before I actually started getting to the point where it's I write my own checks, and you know what I'm saying, people's flying me out to work with me, and now I'm doing big projects with bigger artists, and you know what I'm saying, I actually get my name out there.
Did that take a toll on you doing those days like that?
I can't lie to you, that ages your back 20 years rapidly, faster, first of all. But second of all though, I mean, the bigger toll it took on me was me trying to find out how to balance out the family and the career, plus my side little things and hobbies that I do. So, you know what I'm saying? Just to keep my sameness, and you know what I'm saying? Make me still be inspired and motivated to come in here and want to make hits every single day for 12 hours, 13 hours straight. You know what I'm saying? With 15 different artists.
How do you do it? Do you have a process to it, or?
I mean, everybody got their own little process, but I just do me, man. I treat every song different. I treat every artist different. The best thing to do is once to start building relationships and connections with the artist. Because once you know, I know what he likes, I know what he doesn't like now. You know what I'm saying? It might be 10 people in the room, but he might trust me and 2 other people. So it's once you kind of build that trust up and that what's the word I'm looking for? Chemistry with the artist. Once you build the trust and the chemistry with the artist, then it's really a wrap from there. You never know, you make hits, and now everybody that's seen y'all work together, just doing y'all's thing, is gonna want to record just because y'all work together. But it's hard to do that though if you don't know the artist, or if you don't know what they like, or if you haven't heard their music before. You know what I'm saying? So it takes a lot of reading. You gotta read people's body language. You gotta see if they make faces and see if they like certain things, and just go off that. And so it's a lot more to the engineering thing than just mixing and touching all the buttons and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's more than just track and hit and record.
Exactly. It's way more. Even it's more to that than just the mix. Like I said, you got the whole relationship side.
Yeah.
Of it. Like if you're an awkward engineer, then you're gonna make awkward music. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't matter how cool the artist is you're recording.
Would you say it's hard to be an engineer in Jacksonville, or is it kind of gotten lighter?
Honestly, when I first started engineering, I was like the youngest engineer I knew in Jacksonville. Like I didn't know no other engineers like my age. Like I'm sure there were some out there, but I just didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So like, but now there's so many engineers out here. Like I honestly like I feel like it's probably not hard to get started. It just takes a lot of drive to really get it started, because you gotta know that you're sacrificing all your time, effort, energy, and money to get all the equipment to work on your craft, to really get good at it, to the point where it's like now your music's doing the talking for you. You know what I'm saying? I used to know people at first, like literally from like school and stuff, that didn't. When I first told them I was like full-time engineer, they told me, all right, cool, man. Like, you know, once you start getting better, we could record. Literally. So like now to this day, like they can't even fit in my schedule no more. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it just depends. Like it just depends on the engineer for real. Like it's not. I wouldn't say it's hard to get started, but it's hard to keep it consistent. I'll say that.
You feel like you have to gain people's respect in a way too?
Yeah, for sure.
When you first started?
Yeah, I mean, artists. For sure, because like I was already kind of had like a little name in the city, because I played basketball, football, and baseball, and then like I was real tied in with like the sneaker community too. So like I was already like kind of known across the city, like the north side, south side, and east side. I'm from the west side of Jacksonville, and if you're from Jacksonville, you know Jacksonville is big. Like it's literally like the biggest, I think, city in the country, right? So like land wise, so
spread out for sure.
Exactly, definitely, but. Yeah, I was already kind of popping in the city low-key before I started engineering, like seriously. But I know at first I didn't even want to tell nobody I was trying to be an engineer at first, just because like I didn't want nobody to like shoot my dreams down. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause then I'm the type of person that'll like have that chip on my shoulder. So like when they try to come report with me later, I'm like, oh yeah, I don't know. Let me check my schedule. You know what I'm saying? Like. But no, I never been the salty type, but I definitely been the type to like kind of remember things. So.
Have you taken anything that you've either seen or experienced and applied it to how you work here and how you are as an engineer?
Man, definitely. Like I work with a bunch of like now, like especially within the last 12 months, I've worked with so many different platinum selling artists and got flown out to all the biggest cities in the country. You know what I'm saying? Like. Yeah. Like definitely seeing how all the different studios are operated, and you know what I'm saying. So and then with us being like business, or like this is our personal studio. So with us being business owners, this is something I'll take from each little studio and try to come back and apply it to ours, and just make sure that we're tighten up in that area that I may see another studio lacking in another city. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But at the same time, we're still working with all the resources we got too. So.
Would you say it's kind of like overwhelming when you go and travel to new places and go to like a new studio? Do you get like that?
Honestly, I say it's kind of like, well, back-to-back travel is always overwhelming, but I would say like it's kind of like re-inspiring every time. Like being stuck in the same room for a long time will kind of have you like losing your inspiration. It's kind of hard to get re-inspired going to the same room every day. But when you're traveling on the go and then making all these moves with artists, and then I'm the type of engineer like I go to the clubs with my artists and stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like my artists invite me to the crib. Like we might go hoop. Like I said, I play sports and stuff, and I know about sneakers. So we might go to they might want to show me just a sneaker closet or something. And like I said, they multi-platinum artists, so they sneaker closet is like a whole house. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah. So I was about to say, I mean, like for me, it's just inspiring. Like that's what I'm trying to be. I'm trying to take this engineering to a different level. You know what I'm saying? Well, at least than anybody from Jacksonville ever took it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to definitely
be like a role model.
Exactly. I feel like the engineer role, between the artist, producer, engineer role, like the three roles in the music game as far as what it takes to make tracks. I feel like the engineer is the most like slept on role. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like
true.
I feel like people think engineers are like lame or like nerds or something. You know what I'm saying? Or like not cool and shit. I'm trying to definitely show people like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's definitely engineers out here that will punch you in your face and then cross you over and then take your girl too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's definitely engineers out here that's cool too. With the whole engineering thing, like everybody could kind of shine a brighter light on that side of it. Is what I'm really trying to do with everything. That's why I try to kind of put. That's really why I push so hard to get out the city. And
what does music mean to you?
Music to me, man. I mean, alright. So so my mom's Asian, right? My pops is mixed. So I grew up around a bunch of different cultures, but the one thing that's always relevant, like the common denominator of every culture, is that music is always like the thing that brings people together, at least in my family. So for me, like, music was always super important to me. Like, it's kind of like honestly probably the most important thing to me. If I didn't have nothing, if I didn't have sports, if I didn't have, I'd be cool with everything as long as I still had music. You know what I'm saying?
And what advice could you give to a new engineer, producer, or just artist in general that's just not starting out?
I say put that work in, man. Keep your stay open minded. Treat your body right. That way you could really perform right. I say always make sure you feel good. And, you know, some people, you gotta look good to feel good. So if you gotta do that, make sure you're always looking good so you can feel good. You feel good, you're gonna perform good. If you perform good, the label's gonna pay you good. So always do that. And man, just don't listen. Like, you can listen to what everybody says, but don't necessarily follow what everybody says though in this engineering game, because I know like there's a bunch of like old head engineers that always, like, no disrespect to the older engineers, but they always try to tell me like certain ways to do things, but it's kind of like a newer age of music where it's like I kind of would have to do with things a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So I would say always just follow your ears and do what sounds good. That's the only rule to music, is just do what sounds good. At the end of the day, it's all about the result, not how you get there.
And where can everyone follow you at, and who would you like to shout out?
You can follow me on Instagram at Harper23. You can follow me on Twitter at ShortFuseHarper. And I definitely want to shout out Short Fuse Studios on Instagram, Short Fuse Records, all the artists we work with, all the label executives that look out for us, everybody that we built relationships with. Shout out to A Million Magazine for coming through. And